Here they come. Welcome, welcome. As you're coming in, as we do at the Joyful Connection Masterclass, is share in the chat. What's something that you are celebrating or looking forward to that you would like your peers to know about? Right? What's going on in your world? We haven't seen you in probably a month, maybe more. And it'd be good to catch up with each other because you might not end up in each other's breakout rooms. So share in the chat. What's going on? What are you excited about or celebrating that you want this group to know about? Guess I'll model. Sarah and I are both collaborating with Tim, of course, on Longer Tables San Diego, and there are two presenting sponsors that look like we're going to get on board within the next week here, which is like the hardest of the hardest thing to do, and it seems like we got some quick wins there. So that makes it a real thing that we have to produce this 3,000 person table in October. But thanks a lot, Tim.
You guys are crazy. I don't know why you would do such a thing like that.
Well, as folks are sharing in the chat, let's see. Linda, love your documentary. Thank you. Everyone to Kenmore Street. Please add that to our watch list, Sarah. Thank you. Ronan playing some golf tomorrow. I'm sorry, not a golf guy with you, Ronan, but when you come to San Diego, I'll take you disc golfing. And what are you guys celebrating? I want to see some more in the chat. Women's soccer this season. All right. Well, I guess in sports, San Diego came back from a 6-run deficit to win it in the 9th with a walk-off. So last night, and we have a pretty significant winning streak right now, which is not something we're used to in San Diego. So celebrating that as well. All right. Thank you for being here. Asha's completed that LinkedIn Live. Great job. Steven speaking next Wednesday at Ignite. I wish I could be there. Hopefully some other Denver friends in the room can go to the Ignite event. I'm super excited for you. Welcome, welcome. Let's get started. We almost missed Kevin Monroe. He just made it in the nick of time. What would the masterclass be without Kevin? Welcome, Kevin. Good to see you here. So you are at a special edition of the Joyful Connection Masterclass. We're doing a mastermind format. This is something that the founder team, there's a group of 12 of us, do bi-weekly with each other to go deep and be really supportive group of teammates for each other and work through our challenges together. So we're excited to bring some of the founder team today into the room to help facilitate that and share back what we do with each other with the rest of the group in the connection crew. So again, like we do here, we focus on going deep. This is not a hyper networking event where you are trying to come meet and get LinkedIn for, info for 20 people. And we want you to learn this by doing it with us. And so we're going to model it, do it in a breakout, and then give you the template afterwards so you can take this into your own spaces and communities, whether that be a men's group you do in person on Wednesday nights or a virtual community with thousands of people. This is really scalable if you use the breakout room function with small groups. And of course, we want you to walk away with at least one new friend today. So I'm excited for you to hopefully meet someone new in your breakouts. Of course, many of you know each other already, but I'm sure there'll be at least a couple people that you've never met before when you get to that breakout room. And at the end, we have a little after party we do where we just celebrate together and enjoy sharing about our experience and takeaways and anything that comes up. So feel free to stay on with us if you can after we take our group photo at the end after the final breakout. Let's officially start your Joyful Connection Mastermind. First up is we want to check in with each other what matters most. It's been 4 months already this year. If you set a New Year's resolution and maybe you're a little bit off track with it, or you set some intentions with us in January, we did a deeper dive into our Connection Crew members' intentions. If you did that with us, where are you on those intentions? Are you in alignment, out of alignment? But really, what matters to you most to make progress towards in the next 3 to 6 months? This should be that big rock in your life, that big vision, that goal. What is really important to you that you want to move forward on? And as we do, we'll model. So I'll invite Asha to the spotlight with me and we can do a quick check-in. Asha, thank you for jumping in the hot seat and being our first one today. Asha, for folks that are maybe showed up after I mentioned this, Asha is one of our 12 founder teammates. So I've invited our founder team to help facilitate today. So thank you, Asha. Great to have you here. I would love to know what really matters most to you to make progress on in the next 3 to 6 months or so.
Yeah, for me, it's about simplifying. So I have like two or three personal things that are like open loops in my life right now, and they're causing me to be very reactive. And so I want to close those loops so that I can kind of be more purposeful and focus on the things that do actually matter most. But right now, that's closing the loops is the thing that matters the most. So how about you?
Ah, closing the loops. You're making me change my answer almost a little bit, but the what I'm going to say is related for me. When we all did our intentions together, both in the founder team and then with the masterclass, like what really came up for me was this year, I know I needed to nail down a very few specific healthy habits that I have in my life that are going to then be my like bedrock for going and doing these big things that I want to do. I've really been struggling, for example, with like the system of using seven different email inboxes. Like, what is my system and my habit for getting through emails? It seems small, but it's really what the biggest blocker is for me being successful with these big vision goals I have. So
Yeah.
it's kind of healthy habits and the systems that make them possible for me.
Yeah, it's like the foundation, right? That's taking
Yeah.
you to the next step. Awesome. That's
Awesome.
fantastic.
Thank you, Asha. So, folks, just like Asha and I did, it was kind of quick. This is not one of the longer breakout rooms. This is the check in, more intimately, meet one or two friends here in your first breakout. You're going to have a bigger room next after this. So that way you can just quickly check in. What is the thing you want to focus on, which is going to take you through the rest of the mastermind today? So, come up with that big obstacle. Let's pause for 30 seconds here to let everyone come up with their answer before we go into the breakouts. Okay, as you go in, take a quick minute to say hello to your buddy, and then share what are you really excited about that you're working towards in the next 3 to 6 months. Enjoy meeting your first buddy of the day, and here they all come. I know that first breakout room is fast, folks. We hear it every time. It goes too fast. Don't worry. The next two breakouts are long, and you're going to really enjoy going deeper with each other. But before we do, I would love to hear if you are open to sharing what is that big thing? What is the thing you're most excited about focusing on? Can you share in the chat with us? We'd love to capture and kind of see what everyone's got going on. I was excited to be in a breakout room with Michelle. So thank you, Michelle, for being with me. Nicole, less stress. I get you. Yeah, what is your big rock, folks? Claire, rest. Okay. I hear that. Sleep is important. JGo, starting a new job in a new state. Yeah, man. Congratulations on the new job. Super stoked for you. Keep sharing in the chat. What is the one big thing in the next 36 months you want to make some progress on? You're going to need to get kind of clear on that as we move forward. And good to have it in concise way that you put in the chat. You don't have to share in the chat, but open to seeing and celebrating with you if you want. Let's move on to our second activity. So as we go through this mastermind format, we first want to talk about like what is the big rock, the big thing that we care about making progress on, and then what is getting in the way. And this isn't your small challenges like you woke up late today, you haven't had enough caffeine, or you have someone, coworker that's constantly irritating you. These little things, they're important, they're part of life. But we're asking really like, what is the top 5% or the bottom 5% when you're sharing these things, right? The top 5%, the big goal, the big opportunity. But what is the biggest obstacle that's really going to prevent you from achieving that or making progress on that this year? Or maybe even it looks like a pattern in your life that this is something that you've seen before and it's an obstacle that you got to deal with. I know for sure when I talked to you about my systems, that's definitely a pattern for me. Email inbox overwhelm is a pattern for me. This is not a new thing. So I got to figure out my approach on that. So I'm going to invite up a couple more of our founder teammates to help share and model with you. If you could, Sarah and Stephen, please join me. Welcome, Sarah. Good to see you. For those who don't know, my lovely partner, Sarah, I live with and is downstairs. I do not live with Stephen, but he's also my lovely friend. So, so glad to be here with you both.
Oh.
Thank you for joining and being in the hot seat to model for us. So, Sarah, can you maybe start us off and quickly name kind of first what matters most, what you had shared in that last breakout, and then the significant obstacle or challenge that you're facing?
Yes, what matters most is me being able to do the work that I do, that I love to do. And The obstacle is I don't have enough business lined up for the second half of the year, and I'm not prioritizing and making time for business development. So that always seems to be the last thing. I put it in my calendar and somehow it goes away, and it's like the last thing I want to do, but I need to do it. So making time for biz dev and prioritizing getting more clients.
You're not alone. Danielle is in the breakout,
Yes.
and is with you, and so is Sam
Uh-huh.
in there. So and even a 3-leaf clover in there from someone. So you're not alone on that. I'm excited for a breakout room to maybe even focus on that topic today. And Stephen, if you're up for sharing, can you share also kind of what you had shared is what matters most, and then maybe a big obstacle that you're facing that's preventing you from making progress on that?
Yeah, so my what matters most is actually pretty similar, although I went a little bit more maybe meta on it and saying is that what matters most to me is that what I do on a day-to-day basis is in alignment. So whether it's like a formal job or anything else that like, it's in alignment with helping people kind of live their most uh, authentic lives. And what I've really come to realize that a lot of that includes fun, includes kind of some levity, some Breckenridge, whether or not they believe in Bigfoot, just because I thought that was a fun observation. Um, and so I think one of the biggest obstacles that get in my way is what I call both perceived and actual, or the anticipation of negative feedback, which can be a powerful my instinct. But what's someone going to say, or what do I think someone's going to say, or how am I going to react to what someone says?
Thank you, Stephen. You broke up on us a little bit there, so we may have not gotten the full
Oh my gosh,
the full
worst time for
feeling of
the
it.
internet to do that.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing though. Now, folks, it's going to be your turn in the breakout rooms. What we're going to have, each of your breakout rooms are going to have a larger group now, maybe like 5 or 6, and a facilitator from the founder team. You'll see our backgrounds. That's how you'll know. And we'll walk through and each person will share kind of what is that biggest obstacle coming up. And it's about, hopefully about 2 minutes per person, depending on how many people you have in the breakout room. It'll be a 12-minute breakout room that you get to hang out with each other. And our facilitators will help you guys time track and keep going. So let's pause for 60 seconds and write down, whether it's handwriting on your notebook, or you want to write in the chat, or just have it in your head ready to go. So that way you're ready to share when you get to your breakout room. Let's pause for 60 seconds and Alvaro will play some hot tunes to think to. All right, a little reminder of what was shared in the chat. There were some instructions, but when you share your obstacles getting in the way, and maybe the pattern that's coming up for you, maybe end it in a question for the group. What would support look like? What do you want to get out of? Like, what kind of help would you like for that? To start getting people thinking about how they might be able to support you today in the following breakout room. So enjoy meeting even more buddies in your larger breakouts. Have fun connecting. Welcome back, folks. So thank you for going a little deeper and sharing maybe what's getting in the way. I know our group, we had like kind of 2 or maybe 3 kind of themes start percolating between the group, and a lot of hands being raised or heads being nodded saying like, yeah, dang, I've got that too, right? So I hope you felt a little bit less alone. If you are open to sharing, totally okay, but maybe a brief sentence to help the whole room feel less alone, or maybe even spot people that are your friends that are not in your breakout room who are going through a similar challenge, or you want to support them on something, share in the chat. What's getting in the way? What's the obstacle, or what kind of support would you like? You may not be able to help everyone today or receive help from everyone today, but there's probably people in this room who care about you and want to follow up. So share in the chat, folks, and let's have a quick pause to do that. I know it's a lot to write a long sentence, so try to keep it short and concise there. But and think about too, as you're going back into this room, especially for the facilitators, what felt like a through line between a few different people, or in a sense of urgency for someone as we start identifying maybe the the presenter who's going to go, we're going to go deeper with. So as we're sharing in the chat, thank you for doing that. Ashley, JGo, I see you. Thank you. I'm going to briefly introduce the next and last breakout room activity where we really go into the mastermind model. If you've never been in a mastermind or done this, it may seem a little bit against the intuition of what you should be doing. A lot of us, especially myself, I jump into solutioning often, right? I jump into advice mode. I just want to solve the problem for all of you. I love all of you. I want to solve your problems. So I'm going to tell you what to do, right? How does that feel when someone jumps into solutioning and tells you what to do? It's not great, right? Kind of a guard goes up, a wall goes up, maybe not as open and receptive to learning something in that moment and moving forward with something that you can actually make progress on towards that obstacle or that big goal. So what we will do, sorry, just seeing Natasha has a question there. Oh, yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for asking your question, Natasha. So what we will end up doing is actually sharing personal stories. So instead of saying, here's what I think you should do, we'll say, hey, here's something I've gone through that relates to what you're going through. And in the spirit of Natasha's question about good enough, any story that relates is actually good enough here. It could be a complete failure of a story, and that's great. The person can learn from failures. You can all learn together. It could be a success story. It could just be what you did. You might not think of it as success or failure. It's just facts. It's just what happened and how you approach the problem. Because that presenter is going to just be, they may have never heard that thing before or that way of thinking about it, and they're going to start pulling from those. So let's model as we do here. I'm going to invite up Tim Jones and JGo to bring us home on modeling this activity. So welcome, JGo. So can you please, and we're getting Tim up here on stage too, I believe. Thank you. Welcome, Tim. Good to see you guys. So grateful to be here together with you all. And of course, be on a team with you. So JGo, can you start us off, please, by quickly recapping what matters to you most and that you want to make progress on, and then the biggest obstacle that you're facing?
Sounds great. And hello to everyone. So great to see you all here as well. The thing that I've been focusing on is a new job that I have coming up in a couple of months here. Super excited about it. It's a great opportunity that is maybe a once in a lifetime opportunity. But it's a position where there has been some recent turnover. And so as I'm thinking about working with my staff, this is as the principal of a school. I'm a little anxious that the staff has kind of been there, done that. Like, oh, there's this new guy who's coming in, and why is he going to be any better than the next guy? I have sent some emails to folks saying how excited I am to be joining the team, and gotten 0 responses. So I'm a little bit anxious that all of my wonderful, great ideas and activities that I've learned from these master classes to do with my new staff are going to be not embraced with the open arms that I think they should be. And so that's causing a little bit of anxiety and that type of thing as I approach this new opportunity.
JGo, oh man, thanks for sharing. I see the delight on your face and the excitement, but you're probably carrying a little bit of both, the anxiety as well as the joy of moving into something that's been a dream of yours for a long time. I'm curious. Do you have any information on why what's behind the turnover, the high turnover?
I don't yet. I've made some observations. I think part of the issue is that it's a very new thing. There's a completely different idea of the pedagogy that goes into this. And so I think there's been some trial and error, some things that have worked, some things that haven't. And so I think that is adding to the trepidation that some of the staff is feeling.
Okay. This might warrant some deeper reflection, but what hit me is curiosity around just past people not responding to emails? What is coming up in you in terms of, oh gosh, I'm not welcome here? Is there a place in the past that might feel not great and might be getting a little triggered?
Definitely. I'm that type of person who I'm 100% committed until something goes wrong, and then I start to doubt what I'm doing. And so I know that I have a tendency, if something doesn't go the way that I think it should, to just not do it. Right. So like, when 3 days passed and I didn't get any response, I was like, all right, well, I'm just not going to reach out until the school year starts, and we'll see how it goes then. And I think that that's probably not the best approach to take, but I know that it's one that I've taken in the past, and I have a tendency to do that. So that makes me a little anxious as well.
Thank you for
Thank
sharing,
you.
JGo. Let's model with how we're going to do it in the breakout. We're going to ask JGo to turn his video and mic off. And Tim, now I'm going to ask you, what is an experience that you've gone through in your life that could possibly relate to what JGo's going through that he can take from?
Yeah, so what comes to mind is this choice that I have to make. And this happens often because I find myself launching new programs and situations, and meeting some new folks and inviting them into some work. And there's very few relationships yet. And I feel fear popping up. And I remind myself, and the fear is the assumptions of all the assumptions of, oh, um, they don't want what I have to offer. They're too busy, whatever, all of the fears. And really, am I good enough to be doing this with this group of people? The other side of that is love. And man, Jago, I have like, it's almost instant when I reframe, hey, these are human beings that have been probably through a lot. Education is hard. How do I love them in the way that they need to be loved best? And that might be a little woo-woo there. But I did this with a group of DEI professionals at a big company, and wasn't getting very much interaction in the pre-work. And showed up, and I said, I'm going to love these people, and I'm just going to have them bring photos of them from their childhood, of when they felt most alive. And it was just that highly relational of, how do I connect with these people in a new situation? And it was so beautiful of seeing people warm up, and it moved from transactional, like, hey, we got to get stuff done and get some ROI and some outcomes out of this, to loving the human beings first and creating that trust and those relationships. So that came to mind as a way of um, moving into a new community, and putting all the needs aside and focusing on loving these human beings.
Thank you for sharing, Tim. JGo, now your turn to come back on video, and I'll go ahead and ask, what are some of the takeaways, or what did you pull out, if anything, from Tim's experience that he shared?
Yeah, I mean, it really hit me when you said, these are human beings, and human beings need to be loved. And so I really loved the example of having, these folks bring in pictures of themselves from outside the workspace, and really trying to anchor the relationship in this sense of love and humanity. And the work stuff is there, and it's going to happen, but really sort of seeing people for who they are, as a starting point, I think is wonderful advice, and something that I'm going to do.
I want to be careful with the word advice. I appreciate that Tim shared a personal story of how he approached something and wasn't jumping into advice mode for JGo. That story felt maybe safer for JGo to like listen to and pull something from than just directly receiving advice. There are places for advice, but what we're going to do today is more experience sharing, like you saw Tim just model for us. So thank you guys. As you wrap up your experience sharing, the presenter will be asked also, what would support look like for you? Like, is there an action that you want to take from this? and what does support look like for you going forward, and who from the room can maybe offer you that support. We'll have that instructions in the chat, but we're going to go back into that breakout room. What you saw us just do, you're going to model, or you're going to do with each other. So the presenter will share a little bit more context about their challenge. First, we'll identify a presenter from the facilitator will help you identify. And then you'll share a little more context. People will ask them questions. Just go around. Everyone gets a chance to ask a question. And then you'll ask the presenter to turn video off, and you'll all do experience sharing. Presenter, just a quick note, please have a way to write down notes. You're going to hear a lot of great experiences, but make sure that you have a way to jot it down. The Zoom chat may not be the right place for that. So if you have a notebook or something, anyone may want to have that. So let's go ahead and enjoy connecting. Welcome back, everyone. That 20 minutes went by very, very fast. We were like rushing at the last minute on ours to like do the accountability support piece, but I'm super excited for our presenter to hopefully get a text message from someone else in the group. So if you were in our group, reach out to the presenter and exchange phone numbers in a private DM there if you're open to supporting them with a text message. I would love to hear, one of the things that happens in these rooms or these mastermind formats is that the presenter is in that moment feeling like they're the one receiving all of the support, right? But you probably noticed that you had some things that when you heard someone share their story that you were taking away at the same time, even though you weren't in the hot seat. So I would love to hear and kind of solidify what other people were taking away. We heard some takeaways in our rooms from our presenter, but what did you take away? Oh, Sarah forgot about accountability. So we're going to have to follow up with Ashley for support. It's all right, Ashley, we got you. So yeah, share in the chat, like what was your takeaway or something that you noticed that you were getting. If you weren't a presenter, presenters feel free to share it as well. We'd love to hear that. But the non-presenters, I'm going to invite you to share in the chat here. What was something that you took away from other people's experiences that you want to take some action on? Inspiring to see how much people want to support each other. Yes, I love that. I love that about the Connection Crew people, especially. And is there a presenter or someone else that wasn't a presenter who had a strong takeaway that wants to jump in the hot seat with us? Even feel free, if it's a Connection Crew facilitator too, if you have your own takeaways, you're welcome to be here and share as well. So you can just come off mute and shout or raise your hand and we can find you. Amanda, I'm not the only person who might sometimes overthink things. Yeah, you and me both, Amanda.
I would share.
Yeah, let's go for it.
So it was a lot of great wisdom, but if I see a theme that I will be reminded of is to get clear, get real clear and stay clear on why I want to do what I want to do. So it's the internal work. One is like clarity about my purpose, my mission. And then my post is probably going to have profanity in it, which is to remember who the F I am and that I've had successes. People like me. I have something to share. And so that can shift perspective when I move forward to take action and not let fear stop and such. But so it's who I am and why I'm doing this. And then the focus of what would be that I'm trying to give and learn, not just take when I reach out. Because my issues for context was regarding doing outreach and educate people about what I'm doing now.
Thank you, Michelle. And thank you for being our presenter. It's wonderful to get to know you and have the group support you. Well, I hope you appreciated the mastermind format today. A little different than our normal Joyful Connection Masterclass. We'll be back to normal next month. But I would love to, if we could actually, I didn't put this in the instructions, but tech team, if we can actually spotlight all of our panelists today and just I'd love for folks to shout out to Tim, JGo, Sarah, Stephen, Asha, for bringing this mastermind format to you, being willing to be of support and be of service to this community. Shout out with gratitude in the chat or shout out loud. You're welcome to do that as well. Share some gratitudes with each other. Thank you all. You can come off mute and not just leave me the only one talking here too, but really appreciate you all. It's what we've built here, and what we are still building is the founder team. So that way people don't feel like they are alone in these challenges, right? And you feel like you have people that you can learn from on a regular cadence and feel supported by. So thank you for being that for each other and for me. I really appreciate you all. We got a quick poll to launch, and while we're launching this poll to feel like to see how you want to be involved going forward, we'll share in the chat. And we have our a special guest with us today. Ashley Kirshner is in the room from Skip the Small Talk, and we are partnering with Skip the Small Talk on the May Joyful Masterclass, Joyful Connection Masterclass. So please join us next month and join Ashley. Thank you, Ashley, for being here and being a part of this. Yeah, we're excited to keep this thing going. So if you are feeling like these people are your people and you want to keep going with us, that's what this poll is for, to let us know. And what that generally means is I'll probably schedule a call with you to ask if you want to be a panelist and join us in sharing your favorite connection activity with the group, and being a part of this team and feeling supported by it. So thank you for being here. I think that wraps us up for the day. It's time for our after party and hanging out. Oh, let's take a group photo. Thank you for going to gallery mode as my forcing reminder to take a picture with each other. Let's end that poll so we can get it out of the screen. And oh no, failed to end poll for some reason. There we go. All right, we're out. Alvaro, do you have us on the screenshot today?
All right, 1, 2, and 3. Great.
Thank you. We did it, folks. It is officially over. If you have to leave, totally understand. If you get to stay, you're welcome to be here for the after party where we just hang out on gallery mode. Invitation, if you are staying, to come off mute, to make this a little bit more naturally connecting and hearing laughter and noises and real human stuff. So good to see many of you again. It was an honor to have a couple people in my breakout room that were new. So I know Michelle and Skyla. It's great to have you in the room. I think that's everyone that's still here. Great to have you here. Thank you for being here. I would love to hear, Skyla, we heard a little bit from Michelle's takeaways there just now, but Skyla, I'd love to hear your first experience with the Connection crew. How did it go?
It was such a wonderful experience and so great meeting everybody in my small group, but also more broadly. Yeah, I look forward to staying connected and joining one of these in the upcoming sessions. But definitely makes me feel I'm less alone. And Michelle, if there's any way we can support you just by staying connected, yeah, please let us know what's the best way to kind of be in touch.
I'll reach out on LinkedIn. So I have the name. I'll reach out to everyone on. And
reminder that Michelle wanted good vibes. So let's send her a message with good vibes. Yes. And thank you for supporting Michelle with good vibes. Actually, I would love to maybe hear from you how it went, but also tease the group a little bit for next month.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, finally Alvaro brings the music. I was wondering why it was so quiet in here.
I want that song to be playing every time I unmute myself. That's so wholesome. Yeah, it was great. Oh my gosh, what a awesome experience to get to just share my problems and have 5 people tell me how they have had the same experience. It was great. Really reinforces just how powerful group formats are. Just seeing whatchamacallit, I studied a little bit of how support groups are so effective, and it was nice to get a little slice of really understanding that from the inside of how deeply that works. And yeah, for next month, I'm excited to also, I mentioned this in the chat, but open to anyone. If anyone is interested in being included in an email where I'll probably just have online co-working on the stuff that we meant to do, but never actually do, feel free to hit me up. It's going to be very casual. It's going to be, I figure
story of my life, Ashley.
Yeah, I know. I was it feels like a thing everyone is vibing with. I really appreciated Sarah being Ashley, what if you went maybe? So thank you. I'm glad. I felt like you felt that this is very up for me right now. So thank you, Sarah. You're great at facilitating. And yeah, for next week, I'm excited to, facilitate maybe a little slice of what Skip the Small Talk events are like, where we use like deep, meaningful questions designed based on psychology research to help you share some pieces of yourself that you might not normally get to talk about. So yeah, should be fun. I think this is a great group to do it with. I think you could really, do pretty much anything with this group, and it would be wonderful and magical. So I'm excited.
Thank you, Ashley. And another, I guess, sneak preview, we have a couple of people in the room with amazing accents. One of those people is Claire, who we are partnering with Claire and her team from RSA US on the June Masterclass. But Claire, how did it go for you today? Was this your first one, Claire?
It was my first one, and I don't know if my accent's better than the Cork accent that's in the room from Ronan. Sorry, that was like a really bad Cork impersonation, Ronan. But I think we've got a couple of good accents, is all I'm saying. It was wonderful. It was so nice to meet everybody. Y'all are wonderful humans and super kind and generous with your energy and time. So I really appreciated it. And yeah, I'm very honest, like maybe too honest for my own good. So I was just like, this is cool. I get to be really frank in this space with other people. So yeah, I really loved it. And thanks for having me, Hansen, and everybody else who was a part of making today happen.
Thank you, Claire.
And then over to the Cork accent.
The Cork accent. And don't forget our German accent, Daniela, too. So Ronan.
Oh,
and Ronan's coming up as a panelist soon. So
first you had the person from Dublin on first, right? Yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
So, yeah, looking forward to finally. This has been going to these for quite a while. So looking forward to finally getting an opportunity to share what's been working for me, hopefully, and hopefully if there's anything there that can help others, then even one person, then that's a plus. That's the way I started looking at things, rather than trying to solve all the world's problems like Hansen alluded to earlier on and answer all questions. It's just share my story, and if somebody relates to it and can learn something from it, then great. I've started trying to say, just have a conversation, and whatever, whatever can come out of that conversation, you never know. So that's this whole thing. So looking forward to it. Not sure what I was going to say, to be honest. Today you caught me off guard.
It's all right.
And I can hear my accent getting stronger because Claire was on there. It's like it has been toned down. People don't believe me when I say I'm only speaking about 60% of my speed.
I know, yeah. Try living in Mississippi for 4.5 years and being a very sweary Irish woman. That's pretty funny. People would be like, what did you just say? Didn't hear any of that.
All I'm thinking is Ray McDowell accent, because he lived in Alabama. So it's like the accent, the Irish accent, the sing-song Irish accent into the kind of Southern US accent.
Oh, that's funny.
Ronan, thank you for speaking in an accessible Scottish accent for us.
Oh, do you want me to come next month, or do you want me to do
next month, folks? No one's going to know what anyone's saying on our masterclass. Welcome. No, just joking. Chris, I think this was your first official one too, right?
Chris, this is my second.
Second one. Sorry.
Yeah, I was here in the holiday one, but I had an awesome time last time, so I had to come back for sure.
Welcome back. Glad to have you here. Any takeaways on your end? Or how did it go?
It's just amazing, man. I think we don't share enough of our own struggle a lot when we realize that we're learning, but when we share out what our experience is, it really has this like magnifying effect to help other people that are in the same place, or maybe where we were or where they want to go. So yeah, I think that's a super important understated element of connection, is to like share that, facilitate that. So yeah, I just feel blessed, man, to have done that for the last hour on a Thursday. So it's really awesome.
Thank you for making the time for it. Some of us work, we're solopreneurs. Not everyone in the room is, though, and have the 9 to 5 and dedicate some time during their work day. So thank you, Chris, for saving a slice of your day for us. Christy, good to see you. Welcome back. And
so good to be here.
How did it go for you today?
Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah, it's very parallel. I loved the hot seat approach, having just launched a community of disruptors for good, and really wanting that space to be a catalyst, to really energize, equip, connect, elevate folks who are wanting to use their energy and their talent for good. And so this feels like this is a community of disruptors for good right here. And so it was just neat to imagine that I can see similar kinds of experiences together in that community, and just heartened that there is this community here as well that I value so much.
Thank you, Christy. Good to have you here. What about our founder teammates being in the facilitator hot seat? Other than some of you were actually in a room together, but can't be perfect.
I was going to say something that like echoes as Chris was talking. I was thinking the power of personal story is so huge. Like, not only do you create a connection with the person because they get to see part of you, they get to learn about you. They can also glean, insights, information from your story. I mean, it has so much power to do so many things just through like kind of one action. And so, yeah, I think I'm just noticing that, I think, is how amazing people sharing their stories is, and how much of an impact it has on relationships, on the way we lead our lives, and what we kind of take away from each other and our connection in general. So, yeah.
If we were in our circle platform, I'd give you a bunch of like +1s and confetti right now. But.
I would love to echo what Asha just said about the power of story and the power of, like, I don't know if you call it spontaneous story or like, unrehearsed story. I feel like our world now is full of stories on social media and streaming services, and everybody's talking about story in the business world and that type of thing. But I think a lot of those stories are scripted. A lot of those stories are like, oh, let me take time to really figure out what the best way to make an impact with this story is. And many times, as I certainly saw today, sometimes it's those stories that are just really truly authentic from the heart. Someone just putting it out there without all of the bells and whistles that can actually make even more of an impact. So I think, yes, Asha's story is amazing, and I don't know, maybe I'm going to start thinking about the different ways in which stories can be told.
Thank you, JGo and Asha. Michelle, I see Michelle's hand up, so I want to make sure we check in with Michelle real quick.
Yeah, I didn't want to disrupt the process and the flow, but I do have a curiosity because I was in the hot seat, and I'm curious, for those of you that shared your story, particularly since we had related so much to each other's challenges, very common. I'm curious if the process of articulating your story created more self-efficacy or agency for yourself, where you're like, oh, I forgot I did that. Or oh yeah, that is right. Like the wisdom that came out of you. Of course, I received the pearls, as I call it, all of that, but I'm curious, not listening to other people, but the process of delivering a story. How was that? Were you surprised? Was it, I imagine, empowering, but I just wanted confirmation from your experience.
That's such a sweet question. I was gonna say I have to bounce, but I wanted to real quickly feel like I think the powerful thing for me was expressing what a numbnut I can be sometimes, and receiving such like warmth and like nodding and like smiles, and that was actually so like healing to my soul. So yeah, it was really sweet, and yeah, thank you all so much. I gotta bounce.
Thank you, Ashley. Anyone else want to respond to Michelle's question there?
I wasn't one of the presenters, but the thing I struggle with is trying to bring everything together. And the more I attend things like this and other events and put myself out there, the more I see that what I'm doing is the right thing, but it's also helping me fine tune what engages people, and reflecting back on myself then as well, that I get better at each day at passing it at well, I'm not doing it right now, obviously, but I get better at explaining what being more concise, and stopping myself from, as Claire might know the term, waffling, which is what we call it back home, but going on tangents and just getting to the point. You wouldn't believe how bad I was, a year or two ago compared to what I am now. So this has been part of honing that skill.
Thanks, Ronan. And for the facilitators in the room, you do this a lot, right? We do it every other week where we're sharing stories. So maybe you can speak to, because sometimes it's not a story of a success that went well for you. Sometimes it's failure. Sometimes it's just random and spontaneous, as JGo is talking about. So how does that feel for you to, like, when you're sharing stories? What's that experience like for you, related to Michelle's question here?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm glad you brought that up, but even before you said that, I was thinking, like, I think it's very empowering for the person delivering the story, because you're like, oh, I learned something that could potentially be valuable to someone else, and this is just me living my life, right? And it's weird because I think we recognize that when we see it in a mentor or someone that we personally revere, but it's hard to look at ourselves and see that we might have random wisdom that we all have to give in any given situation. And yeah, I'm certain, I know I feel that way, where I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I had something useful to say. But I'm sure a lot of people feel that way, where they're like, oh, okay, like it's helpful. I have experiences, and I think we all do have experiences that are helpful to someone else, because we live totally different lives and have totally different experiences, and we're not all going through the same thing. So that's my 2 cents. And I feel the same way in our circles. Same thing.
Yeah. I think that brings us home. Thank you, Asha. We are over time. The after party sadly is over, but thank you for all being here, for hanging out afterwards. We like to end these things with a high five all at the same time. So Alvaro, if you don't mind, or Genesis, ending the meeting right when we high five on the count of 3, you just put your hand up to your camera, and that's how we high five each other. All right. Goodbye, everyone. 1, 2, 3.